So, hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session. Thank you for joining us, all the audience. Thank you so much. My name is Rakesh Rai. I have been associated with Bullseye for over 17 years, and I handle sales, marketing, and corporate relations at Hit Bullseye. My job also requires counseling students and gradually guide them to get into their desired institutions. With me, I have two distinguished guests from the one of the top B schools in India, and that is Goa Institute of Management. So, as you all know, that to support our students at hitbullseye.com, we keep on bringing top colleges and their representatives to give a better insight about the college, institution, tests, and so on. So, this interaction will help our students and each one of you to make strategy and get some clear picture about a lot of things that you might feel confused about, while preparing for getting into good B school in India. So, all right. So students are still joining us. Meanwhile, let me give you a brief introduction of our organization before we dive deeper into the discussion. Our journey started in 1998 with the name of Bullseye, and it was around 22 years back. So we have been into providing quality coaching. Am I audible? Somebody is saying that I'm not audible. Sweta, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
All right. So, all right, okay. So we uh, incepted in 1998, and we are into providing quality coaching. So this portal hitbullseye.com is an extension of Bullseye, and it was started in 2014 as a one-stop solution to all the entrance exams in India, primarily CAT. And this year, as of now, we have around 1 lakh students registered with us for their MBA entrance preparations, including CAT, XAT, MAT, and all the exams. And for CAT 21 and CAT 22, we already have more than 25,000 students. So it gives a clear indication that in EdTech, hitbullseye.com has seen an exceptional growth. And we were recently ranked one by Alexa, the Amazon company. And we have generated excellent results in past and have consistently generated top percentilers in various exams like CAT, XAT, IFT again, and IPSAT and MAT, SNAP, these kind of exams. So this has been a precedent since many years, and I'm sure that we'll continue this legacy with you people also. Okay. So coming back to today's event, now in the process of helping our students, when we thought of getting a person to advise and guide about GEM, um, we could not think of a better person than the student themselves. So we have two popular students from GEM. And yes, before I bring them to front, remember, each MBA college is much more than just coursework. Each campus has its own story, its own world. And apart from academic, students have the chance to experience a wide range of activities in it. And trust me, uh, apart from other things, it is the quality of students taking admission in that particular college actually makes that college look great, good, and more credible. So for the gym, we have a direct evidence in the form of guests. Let's not delay further. Let me introduce them. And okay, so one of the guests is Sweta. Sweta is a second year MBA student. She is pursuing marketing and already has a 3 years of work experience. She did her summer internship from Philips Lighting, formerly known as Philips Lighting, Signify actually. So she also handles corporate relations at GEM. And Surbi Gupta again is a second year MBA student, marketing, and also has a 3 years of work ex. She's an excellent badminton, carom, and pool player. They say that if you want to lose, go play with her. So thank you both of you, Sweta and Surabhi, for taking out time and participating. So glad to have you here. A lot of students have approached us asking so many questions about GEM. I have some questions with me. Also, all of you students who are listening to me, listening to us, can write your questions in the chat box, and later on, we'll try to take them one by one. I can also unmute you people so that you can just raise your hand in the Zoom. You can talk directly to us. Sweta and Divya, both of you have to, you have experienced the college life, right? We can go beyond gym. It's not limited to gym only. So we'll keep this discussion more candid so that students also relate to us, and just experience of the B school student, we can share that. So right. So now Sweta, let me start with you. Please tell your story, how you landed in Goa, and like brief introduction.
Yeah, it sounds very fun landing in Goa for your masters. Number one, nobody's going to believe that you're going to study in Goa, so that's the fun part of it. How I landed here is actually I didn't know that you have a very GIM had a very different approach to absorbing students. So my opinion was that I have to get a really good score in CAT, then I'll have to clear multiple rounds of interview, and that's when I'm going to get an admit in some college, any MBA college for that matter. But GIM kind of changed my perspective when it comes to that. When in December, I was thinking, what am I going to do? My CAT didn't go extremely well as I expected. That's when GIM rolled out something called as the, Achievers Round application. So I had just finished 3 years at my organization. I was actually looking to see, do I continue here or do I go for an MBA? Do I, probably switch companies? What is going to be my career path? I was really confused at that point. But after a certain point, after talking to a couple of seniors, like after going through a lot of forums, Hit Bullseye, Pagal Guy, a lot of forums, we were talking to a lot of students. It made sense to do masters after a good amount of work experience that you have. And at the same time, we had GIM rolling out their Achievers Round application where they were looking for more than just marks. So they were looking for your profile, they were looking for what kind of achievements you've had in the past, and that caught my eye because this is something very different from what other colleges are doing right now. So I went ahead and gave it a shot. I didn't know what my chances are. I didn't know if I'd get shortlisted. But I thought I should definitely give it a try given the fact that somebody's ready to look at my profile rather than my marks. So that's how my application to GIM happened. And fortunately, I was shortlisted as part of the Achievers Round, and I was invited to the campus here to give an interview process. Again, same your GD, your personal interview process, selection process. Just that I was competing against people with many other achievements. Like Surbi here, I met with 100 other students who had achievements which I cannot even imagine, which nobody could have imagined. The pool was so diverse that more than scared, I would say I was fascinated. Like people are doing so many things in their life, and all of them are here at one place. So that's a very exciting place to be in fact. So that's how I cleared my process and landed here at GIM. So if there are folks out there who'd like to, who are looking for some twist in their story, then I think probably you should give this a shot.
That's awesome. Awesome. And Surbi, we would like to hear your story.
Sure, sir. My story is quite similar to Shweta's because I was also part of Achievers Round. And back in November 2018, if we talk about when CAT was there, CAT did not go well at all. And then I gave several other examinations like NMAT, SNAP, like also gave so many examinations, and none of them were that well that I could expect some iron grade college, or I was like, I was nowhere. So it was then GIM rolled out their Achievers Round, and I was also called to GIM for the interview process, and there were many candidates who were like national level players, and then they had their own startups. They had very fascinating stories they had to talk about. And this round, so there's a cutoff process as well for this round also. So you have to score some minimum percentile, not like the normal round, but yes, there is a cutoff for this round as well. And I did not meet that criteria. So I did not meet CAT's criteria, and I had, after 15 days, I had CMAT examination, and GIM gave me spot offer, but the only requirement was I had to score 95 percentile in CMAT. So I just had some 15 days to prepare for CMAT examination. And during those 15 days, I did everything that I could do because I had GIM's Achievers Round spot offer in my hand, and only the percentile was needed now. So I prepared as much as I can for CMAT examination. I gave that exam and I scored 98.35 percentile. And that is when I was accepted as a student in GIM for Achievers Round.
Right. So, okay, all right. So a lot of students can relate with your story because not everyone is going to score 99 percentile, and this gives a lot of confidence to us and as a preparator and somebody who is watching us, somebody who's a student can obviously get motivated through your story. Now, you talked about Achievers Round, and it feels good that I was not aware that you both people are you got through with this process. Now, can you please elaborate? So, somebody who is scoring, say, just an example, 60 to 70 percentile at Red Bulls, and our test series are very accurate. When we talk about results in comparison to the actual percentile that they get. So, what is your opinion? Somebody who is scoring, say, 65 to 75 percentile, are there chances can they improve? Can they get through CMAT, or can they get through that? So, what is your opinion? Sweta, can you?
Absolutely. Like Surbhi is a living example for what happens, when CAT doesn't go as expected. It's just 1 day exam. Okay, so never think that CAT is everything. Absolutely not. GIM accepts scores of GMAT, CAT, ZAT, CMAT. So there are 4 exams through which you can try your, admissions at. So definitely, if you're somewhere in 60 to 70 percentile in CAT, the chances through CAT at GIM are quite low. So I would advise that you guys give a shot at CMAT. CMAT is a relatively way easier exam than CAT, which most of the students underestimate. They think, who's going to accept CMAT except for a handful of colleges? You never know. If those handful of colleges is what is going to change your future, then I think you should give CMAT a go. I think you should give ZAT a go. The ZAT cutoff for GIM is quite low. It's in the 80 to 85 percentile range. So again, you have one more chance at ZAT as well. Even if you're not a 90 percentiler in ZAT, you could still crack GIM with the percentile that you have. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. CAT is not everything. CAT is not the end of the world. If it's not CAT, then if it's something else. So give multiple exams. It's a good exposure for you as well, and it improves your chances at several institutes, not just IIMs.
True. So we also suggest students, to apply to say 5 to 6 tests maybe, and roughly 10 to 15 colleges in total. And it's very healthy if you spend 10,000-15,000 rupees on these applications, because ultimately you are safeguarding your career and you are making your horizon more wider in terms of risk factor. So, Surabhi, we talked about the Achievers Rounds. What exactly they see in these achievement we are talking about? Like what are exactly their formalities, or actually they see papers and beyond? They go beyond seeing your certificates. What exactly happens?
Yeah. So in your achievements, there are multiple things that GIM considers. It's not just that you should have a proper certificate to prove your achievement. It could be related to your past academic experiences, academic history that you have. If you have an excellent academic history, that could be one of the achievements. Then the other one can be if you have done really amazing something during your work experience, that could be the other one. If you have something very unique to talk about, like some startup, if you have started, or you have won some tournament, if you have played some national level, state level competitions, or anything that you can talk about, anything that makes you a unique person. So that will be considered as an achievement. It's not that you should have a proper certificate for that. If you have a certificate, well and good. But yes, GIM uses multiple factors, not just one factor. They use multiple factor to call you in the Achievers Round.
All right. Okay. So this is for somebody who is not scoring well in CAT, and those who have scored well, obviously you should apply one of the top colleges. And now, so we are getting a lot of questions from students also. We'll get back to them one by one. Relax. Now, what kind of work and profile a student can target GIM? So somebody who has WorkX or somebody who doesn't have any WorkX, what is the genre there at GIM? The kind of pool of students. I can see you both people, as I said earlier, that you are the evidence. But even then, in a more candid way, if you can say something about it.
Absolutely. The mix here is extremely diverse. It's extremely fun. 40% of our batch are freshers, another 60% of us have work ex. We're really old people, but 40% of them are fresh graduates right out of college. So you're always going to find people from all over India present at GIM. So you're not, as far as the diversity is concerned, you will not imagine the kind of friends that are going to make, the kind of people that you're going to meet from across the country. And when you look at profiles, especially, we are spread across multiple industries. We have someone who's worked as a professor. At the same time, we have someone who's worked as a product manager. We have someone who's the MD of a startup and who was, taken a short sabbatical and come here to do an MBA. And then you will have also a BCom fresher who's like the gold medalist of his or her college. So this is how your team composition is typically going to be whenever you're going to get into some exercise or any assignment that you're going to do. So imagine the level of diverse perspectives that you're going to be getting by your sheer presence in an institute like this. So as far as the diversity and the profiles are concerned, it's going to be spread over a wide spectrum, like manufacturing, chemical industries to IT, and we have someone doing actuarial sciences, statistics. So people from these backgrounds also come and do an MBA straight from their college. So these are some of the typical profiles of students that you could see at GIM.
All right. So Surabhi and Sweta, you both have taken marketing as a stream. What is your suggestion? Like when you landed here and you started pursuing marketing, there are a lot of courses and streams available at GIM. Can you throw some light?
Yeah, so when we landed here, we were also not very sure which direction we should move. So not everyone is clear about what you want to pursue. So that is when us to first year subject. So where you have to go through all streams subjects in first year, be it marketing, be it HR, operations, finance, everything you have to learn. You have to get through all these subjects. That is when you get a chance to find out where your interest actually lies. So that was when I found that, yes, I have a strong inclination towards marketing, and I think I want to pursue my career in marketing. So I feel that if you are very clear about your objectives or what you want to do in future, well, but there are people, the majority of the people are not very clear while doing the MBA, what they want to do and in which direction they want to go. So not to worry about that. You will be asked to clear all the subjects from all these streams. And that is when you will be definitely clear about which subjects are of your choice and which stream you want to go.
Right. So people are asking, and in fact, we have 3-4 questions already, about how is the big analytics MBA specialization, especially for a person from IT background. If you can tell something about it, Sweta.
Sure. So when you say IT background, you need to think about the kind of capabilities that you come with. Are you into hardcore, software coding? Are you comfortable with machine language, ML algorithms? Are you comfortable with AI algorithms? Because big data analytics as such is an extremely technical course. So if you're someone who's fluent with softwares, who's fluent with building something from scratch, then yes, because there are a lot of students from the general management program who have an IT background, but these are people who worked in IT services company but are not quite comfortable with coding, or they're not quite comfortable with working with algorithms or building machines or building softwares as such. So when you say you are from an IT background, you need to think about what kind of an IT background are you coming from, and where does your skill set lie. So that is one thing that we need to think about.
All right. So it was in depth. We'll come back to maybe, again, talking about streams. Before that, another question. When you start preparation, and a lot of our students, when they started preparation, it is very wise to think about IIMs and XLRIs and maybe, FMS. You also must have thought of getting into these colleges. And once you landed in GIM, what is your opinion? What was the surprise factor? What were the things you expected? And maybe, how things are going. So that kind of idea. Surabhi and then Sweta, both of you.
Sure. Yeah. So yes, definitely, as you said, that each one of us who is preparing for MBA aims for IIMs, then FMS, then all these colleges, auxiliary, everyone aims for that. But yes, not everyone can land it there. So when we landed here in GIM, we tried to figure out what are the opportunities that could make us different here. What are the experiences that we could have here. So according to my experience, there are multiple things that GIM has offered me that has come up to my CV now, and I can proudly say that these are the opportunities that GIM has gave me. One of them was the International Consulting Boot Camp, which I was a part of. So it is. There are multiple exchange programs in GIM. In those programs, so there are opportunities where students from University of Antwerp visit GIM, like they physically visit GIM, and we get to team up with them and work on a live project here in Goa. So I was a part of ICB, and that was a great learning experience for me. Seriously, I talked a lot about that in each of my interviews during my summer internship program, during my final placements. So that was a very big thing to talk about. Then there are exchange programs where students from GIM get to go to universities abroad with which GIM has tie-ups with. So that is another experience. Then you get the GIM is a 100% student-driven campus. So everything is done by students only, no management interference is there. Hence, you get to learn the management skills, like everything you get to learn, you get to do yourself, everything you have to manage. That is another thing. Then life projects, then multiple options in sports you have. So you have many things to do here. And yes, so GIM has given me a lot, like literally a lot.
All right. It feels great, somebody feeling pride about the college they are studying in. Nothing can better this. Sweta, what is your take?
Okay, to be honest, my parents only wanted me to go to IIMs. I didn't know what IIMs were. So I think for most of us, that might be the case. IIM obsession is always there. But good, if you land there, well and good, congratulations. But if you don't, absolutely not the end of the world. GIM was in fact such a pleasant surprise because number one, it's one of the most beautiful campuses. You get into it, the ambience convinces you that, okay, this is where you belong and there's no way you're going to regret these 2 years that you end up spending here with your friends. It's such a beautiful sight in itself. More than anything, like Surbi pointed out, I've never seen any sort of management interference, any professor coming and telling us what to do and what not to do. They are going to treat you as if you're managers right from the first year. That's how it's going to be. The management is going to tell you that it's your future. How do you want to run your campus is your decision. So that will teach you a lot of things in terms of, especially for freshers, especially freshers who have no exposure to, probably teamwork or any kind of, taking initiatives. And that's going to be a great experience for you guys where we pull all-nighters for every single project that we need to implement on campus because it's our accountability, it's our responsibility. So in that way, I think at the end of 2 years, you'd definitely be thinking, now, how am I going to give back to GIM? Because I've taken so much from here. So that's how it's going to be like. There's never been a moment where I thought, should I have dropped 1 year and taken CAT again? There's never been that moment. Maybe after I got my CAT results, a lot of people might, convince you to do that. No, you need to have 99.99. Okay, but what are you going to do with 99.99? You anyway are getting everything that you'll get here. So that's when I think you need to take a call and decide to take your future in your hands.
Very true. So we also tell our students that IIMs are not end of the road, and it's entirely up to the students how exactly you are going to put in your individual effort and that kind of thing. So there are a lot of questions about dates and deadlines. So Poojan, so we have a separate dedicated team, Sweta and Surbi, you also listen to me carefully, that we have a separate team of dedicated counselors. We call that team B-School Advisory Team, and they are 15-20 good counselors. And so they guide students and they will make you understand how to get into GIM, how to apply all the links and all the processes. They'll be supporting you, and we'll share the number later on. And let's talk about, if you are aware, can you tell us something about deadlines like 2021 Achievers Round? I think that on 25th or 15th ending, right?
15th December,
15th.
open applications.
So, All right. So everybody who is appearing in CAT, 15th is the last date to apply GEM through CAT, right? No? Am I correct?
Yes,
Yes,
right.
you are.
All right. So, and can you throw some more light on it? Like, what are the tests through that they can apply, and what is the deadline normally, usually, in January or maybe December?
Surbhi, can you take this
Yes,
up?
yes, sure. So for CAT, as Rakesh has already told, that the deadline is almost here now, that is 15 December. For early birds, we have deadline till 31st December. Then last date for the application is 12th January, and final closing will be 14 January. So we have time till 14 January to apply through other examinations. But for CAT, it is 15 December.
All right. So, is there achievements round for CMAT also? Poojan is asking.
Yes, so there is a achievers round. In total, we have one achievers round only. In that achievers round, you have different cutoffs for different examinations. Suppose for CAT, for normal round, suppose the cutoff was 87 percentile. So for achievers round, it will be somewhere around 82 or 81. It will be somewhere around this. So similarly for CMAT, if the cutoff for normal round is around 98 percentile, then for achievers round, it will be somewhere around 95 percentile. So the difference is only this much. Otherwise, examinations are same. All four examinations will be considered for achievers round as well and for normal round as
All right. All right. Let's get back to the Goa. So, how exactly the Goan life is plays a impact on GEM students? So, there is any connection? Like, it's a global, I'll say, city. Not only in India, as you said, that diversity is lot of diversity is there in GEM, your campus. So, I assume if there were foreign applications, I am sure that there were 30-40% of foreign crowd also. So, how exactly is it is connected with outside world, your campus?
Right.
How often do you
So,
go outside of?
wow. So everybody, don't have this misconception that we party in Goa every day. Not happening at all. So but it's a good healthy mix that we have here. So the course is going to be rigorous. There's no doubt about it. It's a 2-year program, and the kind of assignments, the live projects that you get to work on. When Surbhi said live projects, don't think that it's something that you apply and get it somewhere from outside. Not at all. Professors, as part of their course curriculum, they collaborate with Goan startups, Goan organizations, and bring us real-time projects to solve on. So as part of your assignment, you'll be graded on the kind of recommendations and solutions you're giving to businesses who are actually tackling that problem. So that's how rigorous the course curriculum is going to get, and that's the kind of exposure that you're going to have. Apart from this, I think Monday to Friday is going to be a blur. There you'll never the deadlines, midnight deadlines, early morning deadlines, and the kind of leadership interaction talks you'll have with we invite industry leaders from all over India. They come to Goa. They have a guest lecture session. So it's going to be a blur Monday to Friday. But at the end of Friday night, I think there's no better place anybody would want to be in rather than Goa. So I think yeah, that's the kind of work-life balance we enjoy here.
All right. Okay. So Anand is asking if we are applying through CAT in future, can we add scores of other exams as it comes, like ZAT or CMAT?
Could
Initially,
you actually
initially they have to score, give their score about say CAT. So can they change it later? Maybe can they add the other scores also, CMAT or ZAT?
Absolutely. So what happens during Achievers round is that, okay, actually two things happens during Achiever round. Number one, you get a spot offer where based on your interview performance, they give an offer, conditional offer saying, yes, we'd like to admit you, but you need to score a minimum in any of these 4 exams, CAT, ZAT, ZAT and GMAT. They'll give different scores that you need to have. So even if you had applied earlier through CAT and later you think by looking at the offer letter, you think you have a better chance with ZAT, if you have already cleared the ZAT exam, you can apply through ZAT. So you can always change that. Number 2 option is that not all students get spot offers, and that's all right. Students who do not get spot offers, they get considered along with the general pool of applicants that come to GIM after they get their CAT scores or ZAT scores. So you get to change it when you have spot offers. You can change which exam through which you're applying.
Right. All right. So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, also, I would just like to add one more point that we have not talked about till now. So once we get spot offers, so there are very few people that those get spot offers, and spot offer people are eligible for scholarship as well. And me and Shweta, both of us were eligible for this scholarship. So this scholarship is of 4 lakhs, where 2 lakhs you get in the first year, and based on your performance in the first year, the rest amount will be given to you during your second year. So this is one thing that is again an achievement for us for being in GIM.
That's awesome. So 4 lakh rupees, feels good, when you are a student, you have not landed in job also. And so is there any range, or how exactly it happens? Like, just a second.
I mean, it's a 4 lakh, range as in how you look.
It's a fixed amount that
it's a fixed amount, right? It's a fixed amount of 4 lakhs on your academic fee, whatever is the academic fee for the 2 years, you get a 4 lakh discount on that.
So can you please throw some light on it? Like how exactly a student should aspire for this scholarship, what they should do at this point of time?
Okay, at this point of time, I think all applicants should focus on preparing for the different rounds that there's going to be. For example, your group discussion and personal interview. So the main thing that people are looking for here is clarity. Are we able to articulate what we really feel? As in, if somebody's going to ask you, why do you want to do an MBA? A very mugged up a very artificial answer is definitely not going to impress them. You're going to have to really tell them your story to make them see why you're here to do an MBA. So basically, they're looking at your articulation skills, your common sense, and your awareness in general with regards to your current affairs. Please be thorough with the last 3 months of current affairs at least. That's where most of your GDs are going to revolve around, not just GIM, but for any other B school for that matter. There's going to be a good mix of abstract topics and current affair topics. So when it comes to current affairs, if we come off to be a bit not really aware there, then we're not going to be good managers. So that is the perception that we'd be giving off. So for all applicants, not just GIM, just be thorough with current affairs for the past 3 months. And once you have all your thoughts structured and in order to hit the nail on the head, I think your chances of scholarship as well as a spot offer is going to greatly increase.
Right. Also, there is one thing that all of us tend to do, not willingly, but yes, we tend to do is we try to fool the interviewer. That is one thing we should never do. They will catch us in one go only. They are very experienced people. And if you are trying to fool them, you will definitely be caught. And then that is where you will lose the chance of scholarship, or you will be out of the interview as soon as they catch you. So be very true about your story, be very thorough about your CV, whatever you have written. You should have live examples to prove that yes, whatever you have written is very true and you have actually faced that situation. So do not try to fool your interviewers at all, never.
Right. So it's a advice for all these schools, not only for GEM. And okay, so Surabhi, Anand, before we get to your question, I would like to understand when you thought of getting into GEM, you must have applied certain other colleges also. So how exactly a student should make a good horizon, I'll say, about applications and all. So can you give some suggestions?
Yeah. So as we have already talked that all of us aspire for IIMs. So well and good if you are aspiring for IIM, but you should also have a backup plan. What if you did not score 99.9 percentile or whatever is required for IIM? So you should have a backup plan. So you should have 2 or 3 categories of colleges. Like first category is these colleges I want to apply. Then the other category, what if not in this range, then what should be the backup plan? Also, you should look at what your interests are, like which profiles you want to get into. Suppose you are aspiring to get into some IT related profile in MBA, then which colleges are offering those profiles? If not GIM, then which colleges are offering those profiles? So you should also look which college is giving those profiles which are aligning to your interests. So these are some of the things that you should look while choosing the school which you should prefer. And in tier 2 colleges, tier 3 colleges as well, you should do a deep research about those colleges. If those not just for the sake of getting into some random MBA college, you should have an aspiration. Why do you want to get into this college? So you should have a reason why did you apply. But what if you get into this college? What are the things that you would want to focus on? You want to target this thing or you want to target that thing. So you should be very clear about what you want. Then according to that, you should categorize your colleges, and based on that, you should choose which college you want to get into.
Right. So, okay. So you just authenticated what we advise to our students, but coming directly from you, it gives more credibility. Now, okay, Anand. So let's talk about internships, then maybe placements. Sweta, can you throw some light?
Sure. So yeah, so the best source of truth for internships and placements would be the placement report up on our respective websites. So Anand, I'd advise you to download a copy of it. So the advantage of doing that is that you get to see in different streams like marketing, operations, human resource, and finance, what are the different companies, what are the top recruiters in each of these domains. So that is where the diversity comes from. We have 4 specializations: marketing, human resources, finance, and operations and supply chain. These are the 4 specializations. So for marketing, you have your typical, your Philips Lighting, Reliance, your AB InBev, a lot of big names, in fact, Saint-Gobain. We have a lot of these companies visiting our campuses. So starting from manufacturing to IT to product companies to services, that's where the diversity stretches across multiple spectrums. So I'd advise you to download the placement report and go over it for any kind of corporate engagement ideas that you'd want to know more about.
Right. And what is the weightage of academic profile in selection process?
Surbhi, can you take this up for weightage?
Yeah. Yes, sure. So past academic performance weightage is 15%. And if you have any work experience, then the weightage is 10% for that. The interviews, face-to-face evaluation, that contributes to 30% of the weightage. And the rest is the objective and leadership assessment, which contributes to 40% weightage.
All right. Awesome. So, all right, students, you can ask, you keep asking questions so that we have this discussion going on. All right. So, meanwhile, Sweta, how exactly are the transits? So, you transit first semester to second semester, then third semester, then fourth semester, right? So, what is your take on it? Like, how exactly you improve as an individual? How exactly Jim is, I'll say, supporting you in getting improved? What is happening in these 4 semesters? How they have bifurcated it?
Right. So it's a trimester program. Your first year is going to be 3 trimesters, and your second year is going to be for 3 trimesters. So the course in itself is going to take care of your transition. We have nothing to worry about. It's going to be extremely rigorous. Like Surbhi pointed out, the first year is going to be a general management program. And I think this is one of the best things as far as the course curriculum goes. Because most of us might think, okay, I'm going to be a great marketer, but they've come to GIM and realized, you know what, actually, I'm a better operations person. And you get this perspective only by going through these multiple courses that we have during the first year. We have an operations management course, we have a financial modeling course. And that's when I realized I need to stay as far as away from finance as possible, because absolutely not happening, right? So you won't know this until and unless you're here experiencing the curriculum. So since it's also a trimester program, it's going to be even more hectic than you imagine, because each term is going to be for only 3 months. And in 3 months, you need to manage your case studies, you need to manage your assignments, you need to manage your corporate case study competitions. And then there are internship placements that start. So you're basically going to be juggling around 10 things at a time. And trust me, for everybody who has been saying, I know time management before MBA, I think after MBA is going to be a huge surprise, and the learning curve is going to be quite steep. But after MBA, we'll be very 100% sure and confident that, of course, I'm a multitasker. That's when you can say that with confidence. So the course is going to take care of your transition. You just have to, focus and give your 100% to the course, and not just to academics, other things that happen on campus. So Gian, when actually Rakesh asked about how we are connected to the external world, one thing that important thing that we missed is we have our internal cultural committee, which actually takes care, who actually makes sure that, we don't go insane here with all the assignments that we have. So we have multiple festivals, multiple functions and competitions. We have a sports club, Brilliant Sports Club. They keep organizing all these events. So the trick is to strike a balance between all these extracurriculars as well as the rigorous academics that the college gives us. So I think that takes care of your transition a lot. So you don't have to worry about that.
Great. I remember there's an Inception, I remember, body that you have, right?
Yeah.
Somebody from the college approached me last year for sponsorship. Maybe, I am more convinced this year. So let's see. Okay. So Anand is asking, you talked about leadership assessment, right? So can you brief a bit about the last part?
Yes, Anand. So leadership assessment is basically the CAT, CMAT, GMAT, and ZAT score that you have. So one part is this, and the other part is the group evaluation that you have, GDs, and a written test. After GD, you will be given, I think, 1 or 2 minutes to write a short paragraph about whatever your GD topic was. So combining both of them, your examination score as well as your GD and your written test, that will be contributing 40%, that is leadership assessment.
Right. Okay. So Sharina is asking what other colleges we can go other than them. Sharina, I'll suggest, before targeting colleges, you should think about your percentile, or maybe you can benchmark your percentile. So if, say, imagine you are coming into the bracket of GIM, I'll suggest there are a lot of good colleges, maybe 4 LBS, Willinker. So these kind of colleges you can apply. And you should have a good mix of colleges so that there's a lot of safety is there, right? Now, to support you better, we have a separate team, as I said earlier. I'll share the number also. You can talk to our team members and they'll guide you about application process. And this question can be, individually handled also. So this is one thing, right? So we are in the last phase of our discussion. I think 10-15 minutes are left. So keep asking questions. Meanwhile, anything else that we have missed, Sweta, you want to add on, to some value to the students, maybe? So there's a question, Karthikeya. So he's expecting 80 to 85 percentile in CAT. Okay, Karthikeya, I just suggested you, maybe you can apply it, obviously GIM, and 4 LBS, Willinker, you should, see these colleges. And before you apply, just go and talk to our counselor maybe and visit their website directly and do some research. Okay. So anything else that we have missed, Sweta?
Yes. Actually, one thing which is quite interesting with regards to the curriculum as such, I'm not sure if any other college has this. We have a separate intensive 4-credit course for corporate social responsibility, which is not an elective, it's a part of the course. It's everybody who's in the first year goes through it. It's a very interesting exercise. It's called as the Give Goa program. So what happens is the college management has partnered with NGOs and government organizations across Goa, with the state of Goa. So we have a partnership with them. Every year, the college's responsibility is that they split us into teams of 5 or 6. Every Thursday is Give Goa Day for us. So very early in the morning, college arranges our transport. We go visit these multiple NGOs, self-help groups, and government organizations in Goa. So we go visit them. So each of them will have a unique problem to solve. They do not have the resources to hire consultants or managers to, put forth their ideas or articulate their ideas. So that's where we come in. So basically, they let all MBA candidates solve a problem statement for them. For example, we partnered with Goa's agriculture department. We partnered with Goa's women self-help groups, right? So our job typically is to understand what is the challenges that these NGOs or these grassroots organizations are facing, and trying to see if we can use the knowledge that we have and the resources that we have as MBA graduates to see if we can solve problems for them. That's actually a very enlightening experience, because you get to, it's not about fancy officers consulting. It's not just that. You get to see what actually here in the rural sector, or what actually here in the grassroots the problems are. We get to visit government schools. We interact with government school children to raise awareness, regarding any any health hazards. We teach them, we get an opportunity to teach government school students good spoken English, vocabulary building for them. So it's a very, I would say, it's a very grounding experience that every MBA student should experience. And I think as GIMites, we are very lucky on that front. We get to have our corporate exposure, but we also have a good 1 year of experience working with the grassroots people there. And that's the balance that I don't think anybody else is ready to offer here apart from GIM.
That's really awesome. In fact, I really appreciate that, Jim do not come with a very aggressive marketing, publicizing these kind of things. And once a student lands, he is pleasantly surprised. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. So, okay. So if I want to join healthcare as specialization and I have dental degree, so is it helpful in any way?
Absolutely. If you have a dental degree, we have a lot of doctors doing healthcare management here. So that's definitely a plus for your profile. So I think you should go for it.
All right. So Surabhi, answer this question. If CAT percentile is 90 percentile approximately, will it make me eligible for Achievers Round?
Definitely, definitely. If your Shilki, if your percentile is 90, then definitely you have a very good chance to get through the Achievers Round.
So I think we've got the timelines a bit different. So guys, your Achievers Round application comes first. You apply, you get a shortlist, and you give the process. Your cutoff doesn't come anywhere in this process. In the end of your Achievers Round, if you have a spot offer, they'll tell you that, okay, now you have a spot offer, you get 80 or 90 percentile in CAT and your admission is final. So, so first comes the Achievers Round, where they entirely look at only your profile. They do not look at any of your exam cutoffs. After your selection, then they ask for documentation saying, okay, Abhi, now that you're selected, this is the cutoff that you should be having in each of these exams to seal your offer. That's how it works.
Yeah, so there are people who get spot offer, and like we have friends who got spot offer, but they did not get through the cutoffs. So it's the spot offer that you get first, and after that cutoff comes into play. So you can get the spot offer even if you don't have the percentiles. It's just that those spot offers will not be valid if your percentiles are not as per the requirements.
Right, right. All right. So, yes, Karthikeya, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm sharing the number of our B School advisory team this in the chat box. You can talk to the team. Just a second. Yes, Soumya, I think, Surabhi, I think that if somebody is not selected to Achievers Round, they can get through normal application, right?
Yes, yes. If they are not selected to Achievers Round, their application will be considered for normal round as well.
Okay. So, Sweta, let's talk about fee. Can you throw a random, I'll say approximate, figures? What exactly is the fee structures?
Absolutely. You're going to be looking at spending somewhere around 18 to 20 lakhs, both years put together. And if you are going to get a scholarship, then there's a 4 lakh cutoff there as well. There's a 4 lakh which has gone through there as well. That's how much you're going to be spending. This is inclusive of your accommodation, your cafeteria, your food that you're going to be, paying for. This is inclusive of all of that. So that's where it stands right now. And you get access to multiple research databases. We all thought Google is the end of the world. Absolutely not. There's a whole world of research database that we as students of GIM get access to, which is much, much more exhaustive, extensive than your usual internet search. We get access to so many international journals, papers, books authored by, foreign authors, which is going to come in handy, especially when you're learning a new subject, whenever you're sitting for your placements. So the fee that I'm talking about is inclusive of all of these, access to multiple online libraries and journals, and your academic fee as such.
All right. So let's talk about COVID-19 situation also. So this year Achievers Round will happen in Goa, or it will be online thing?
So it is.
We are trying.
Yeah, go ahead. Should be good.
Yeah. So we are trying to make Achievers Round at least in Goa. So for normal round, it is almost decided that normal rounds will be online only. But yes, for Achievers Round, we are trying, but it's not 100% sure that will be conducted in Goa itself. But yes, we are definitely trying to make it happen in Goa, because this is what something that makes Achievers Round quite different. Like people coming and experiencing the life here. So yes, we are trying, but yes, still let's hope for the best.
Right. Okay. So this COVID-19 discussion has popped up. How has life been since COVID-19? I think that you missed a major part in this fourth semester, right? So,
Yes,
Surabhi, you are based out of
for,
Lucknow. You are based out of Lucknow, I think.
yes,
And
yes.
Sweta, you are based out of which place?
Chennai.
Chennai. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, uh, how swiftly Goa gym shifted to online mode once
Okay,
this
so
COVID-19 happened?
right. Quite soon. I mean, we were also surprised. We thought, okay, we're going to get an extended holiday, but no.
Okay.
So our terms started on point. We had barely a delay of 15 to 20 days, if I'm not wrong, not more than that. So as such, we have a very kick-ass technology team, which aided our entire campus in this digital transition. We entirely switched our platform to Teams, Microsoft Teams, and since we already had online learning modules, when I talked about the journals and other online libraries that we had access to, it was quite easy for teachers to keep sharing materials, keep sharing course curriculum through those online platforms itself. So online was not something, it was entirely new to us. Yes, we missed classrooms, but the transition was quite seamless. So as long as you had a good internet connection at your home, I had access to all my professors with recorded sessions. And here the professors as such are extremely helpful. And even if you need individual attention, you need individual coaching, that you will have to reach out to the professors after business hours, and they're going to be more than happy to coach you through any difficulties that you might be facing. And online made it, in fact, more easier, I would say, rather than on campus. So I think as far as the transition was concerned, it was pretty quick. We lost 15 to 20 days, but that's about it.
All right.
Also, there's one thing that we have not talked about, like how did GIM, like we both of us are in campus today. So how did GIM arrange everything, calling us back to the campus, and then
Yes.
so GIM did a great job, like really a great job. So they are calling us in batches, and in a particular batch, around 35 to 40 students are being called. They are being quarantined for around 10 days, 10 to 14 days. They are being quarantined. So food will be delivered to your room. So it will be kept outside your room. You just have to collect your food and then you just eat it. And nothing, you cannot get out of your room. You are like properly quarantined. Then you will be going through the test, the COVID test. You will be going through, and once your reports are out, and if every one of us is positive, then you will be shifted to the hostels. This is a seamless
Negative,
process.
Surbhi,
Yeah.
negative.
Sorry, negative. Negative, yeah. So the process was very smooth, very smooth. Like we did not face any difficulty in going through all of this. Everything was arranged as per our requirement, be it food, be it any emergency, like medical emergency or anything, everything was arranged as per our needs and requirements. So this is something that JAM has done like best way.
All right. Awesome. So, okay. So we can take one last question. So anybody can ask if there's any question, and because we can keep on this discussion, for another 1 hour. But and Surabhi, Sweta, I would like to suggest that we can come up with another session, maybe 15 days later, maybe 20 days later, but we can do it again for our students. And our students, we keep on conducting these kind of sessions. And day after tomorrow, IPSAT team is there. You can talk about ICFI Business School, and you can talk about IPSAT as a test. And same time, 5 o'clock, you can talk to the number that I have given, the B School team. And okay, so last question, JB Akhil, can we put work experience for Achievers Round?
So it depends what in work experience. Like, for example, I won the best salesperson of the year award, or I've been promoted as a manager in 3 months itself because of my extremely good performance. Things that you've done in work experience that you think makes you stand out. So it's not the work experience in itself, but what you've done in your work experience that you think is quite an achievement considering your other peers. So one more important thing that I would suggest is never hold back on the kind of achievements that you'd like to apply with. You never know. Like I applied with the Teach for India volunteer experience that I had. I just wanted to give it a shot. That's about it. I never expected a shortlist and I got a shortlist. So don't hold back underestimating your achievements. You never know, what kind of contribution that you could make to a particular campus. So even if you think it's something that's really small according to you, I would advise that go ahead and apply with it and leave it to the fate to decide whether or not you get a call. So don't hold back on that.
All right. Okay, I think time has come when we shut down this thing. Thank you very much, everyone. We really appreciate. Thank you, Sweta. Thank you, Surabhi, for taking out time. And I think that this will more consolidate our relationship with Jim and our students who are participating. Thank you so much. I can see 150 students, still here. Thank you so much, students. Thank you, Sweta. Thank you, Surabhi.
Thank you.
Take care. Cheering
Thank
for you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you, Rakesh. Bye. Take care.
Thank
All the
you.
best.
Bye bye.